What is up, you guys? It's your host, Galaton Gaming, and today the Galatroll deck is back and it's making bacon. What I mean is, this is the Galatroll deck facing the old infamous Hog Trifecta, or variations of it. You've got the Hog Rider, usually the Valkyrie in there, and sometimes the Musketeer, maybe a mini P.E.K.K.A. Here we've got a slight variation, but it's pretty similar, and we're going to go ahead and see how the Galatroll deck holds up against these different variations of the Hog Trifecta. Now this guy's got an unusual deck. He's also copying me using my favorite card in the game, the Goblin Barrel. I'm a big fan of the Goblin Barrel, mostly not because the card itself is like super overpowered, but it's just the dynamic, the way the card works, the fact that you're throwing goblins across the screen, a barrel breaks open, they come out and they go right to work. I don't know. They must have an extreme sort of brain padding or something. I mean, that's concussion time. You get thrown in a barrel like that for that sort of distance. I don't know. But they do a good job. They get out there, and it's so unique. It's a unique way of getting to your opponent's tower immediately, and it seems to me, because of that, less cheap than, say, Royal Giant or a Miner. Throw the Goblin Barrel, and you see it coming. Here it comes. Goblin Barrel on the opposite tower there, and zapped right away. But you know what that means? When you bait out the zap, you throw another barrel. And the opponent panics, drops the Barbarians down to try to counter. That works out well for me, even though it was 4 elixir for my mirrored goblins. He throws the 5 elixir barbs to counter. Now he's throwing them on my elixir collector. Princess takes a while to get those down, and I am going to eventually be able to counter this other push on the other side. Princess doing double duty from the left lane, protecting the right. Now he's really looks like he's damaged me pretty well here. Both of my towers pretty severely damaged, and the goblins from my barrel, but they weren't the key. It was the fire spirits that did the job right there. They made it to the tower, and now things a little bit closer, even though technically I am still pretty far behind. Final minute, and that is where my deck shines. Now, usually either things go completely bad at this point, or I really start to pull out ahead. And I have to warn you once again that you're not supposed to take the Galatroll deck completely seriously. If you are a super competitive player and you're playing in tournaments and challenges, the Galatroll deck may not be for you, but it's fun. I love throwing goblin barrels. I love mirroring princesses, mirroring goblin barrels, and even mirroring fire spirits. Here comes another mirrored goblin barrel, and it's going to get the job done, just about getting the tower down, and the princess gets the last strike on it. Gotta love that. The princess with that range damage. I feel like she's underrated. Now this guy takes my tower down, and he overkills it with a goblin barrel as time runs out. Obviously, he really wanted to make sure that he grabbed that tower before time ran out. Now I'm mirroring goblin barrels on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, he did have the zap spell ready, but he didn't use it. In fact, it looks like a momentary stall there. He decided, he couldn't decide rather, what to drop. He finally gets the Valkyrie down, but I've got his left tower down. Here comes his Goblin Barrel down after my right tower. Things are so close. We're just about even right here. Both towers down to about 1,000 hit points left. Of course, this is a challenge, so we've got 3 minutes of overtime. Normally, we would be in the final 30 seconds, but instead, plenty of time for somebody to take out one more tower and grab the victory. So I'm focused on defense. I'm also elixir collecting with this much time left. Figured it probably makes sense. The cannon going to work out well, drawing those units in towards the center. The knight, my ultimate underrated tank. I definitely think that the knight is the most underrated card in the game. Now look right here, my tower survives. I've got a counter push, but it's on the wrong side. So as the Teslas are distracted, I throw the goblin barrels on the far left. He zaps the goblin barrel down, but the princess, once again, this time twin princesses, go into work. They do get a few hundred hit points on that tower. Here comes another goblin barrel. He doesn't have the zap spell ready, and this could be it. Right there, 56 hit points. He knows it is over. Just a zap spell away. Of course, I don't have one, but one shot from a princess does the trick as well, and I grab the victory, 2 crowns to 1 in a goblin barrel madness-filled battle, but technically it was facing a Hog Trifecta. Alright, so let's move on to another challenge battle, and this guy has a slightly more traditional Hog Trifecta deck. He's got the cannon, the poison spell, the zap spell as well. Now I definitely think that poison still needs to be nerfed, either the duration and or the radius, and who knows, maybe by the time this episode comes out, because I'm recording a couple of these slightly in advance because I am traveling to Helsinki shortly, maybe by then it'll be announced that it is, but I hope it is. Anyway, the poison, and there it is being used on me. Not a fan. That radius just way too big. Okay, so the Goblin Barrel on its way over there, and it looks like he's not going to have an immediate counter for it. We get a couple of 100 hit points off the tower. It looked like the Cannon, the Valkyrie, and the Ice Wizard each took out one of the Goblins. But right here, early on in these matches, it's more about exploration. I'm trying to find out what my opponent has in his deck. But watch right here. This Goblin Barrel move is very similar to, say, Minions and a Lava Hound, or a Miner and Minions, anything like that. You've got units that are drawing the attention of the tower, and then the Goblins get in and do all the work, eventually getting in there, and that tower is almost all the way down. Again, it's just a fundamental strategy of the game. You almost always want to bring more than one unit to a tower at the same time. Just any one unit, even if it is a Goblin Barrel, is not going to get maximum damage. But if you can get that tower distracted by another heavier tanky style unit or group of units like you saw right there, then the DPS units can get to work. And we almost got that tower down, just about down into the final minute. And right here you'll notice that one of the keys to this deck is having the elixir advantage. And what I mean by that specifically, not just positive elixir trades, but pumping out more elixir than my opponent. So if I drop a pump, great, but if he drops a pump, I need 2 pumps. So occasionally I will risk it for the biscuit. I can't believe I just said that. Okay, but occasionally I will drop the risky play of the second mirrored elixir collector. Obviously puts you very elixir poor for a few seconds, but here it works out, and now I've got 3, he's got 2, so we go for 4. Now there is going to be elixir all over the place. Here comes the Hog Rider. Hog not going to get far against my Inferno Tower, and 3 elixir collectors now. The Princess going to work again. One of my favorite late game cards is the Princess, but the Goblin Barrel does the job, gets in there, and that is a tower in the final 20 seconds. I throw up the good game because I know he's got no chance. He is too far away from getting those units in the final 15 seconds, and then he throws up an elixir collector with 15 seconds left. That right there made no sense. I would rarely throw one up in the final minute. Occasionally I will do it. Now he's raging. I don't know. Worked out pretty well. The Galatroll deck with another victory over the Hog Trifecta. So having fun, and that's really been the key, because I admit that there was a period there where I was just grinding trophies nonstop and not having a lot of fun. And that is one of the things that I really enjoy about Clash Royale. I hope that you guys are enjoying it as well. As the game grows, as it gets older, we are seeing more and more things to do in the game. Now you can grind for trophies, you can play in challenges, you've got friendly matches, you've got tournaments as well. And if you're still having a problem getting into tournaments, let me know. Mobcrush.com, live streams, 1,000-player tournaments just about every day. But anyway, so yes, there's a lot of new things, and I think there's going to be more and more stuff coming to Clash Royale that's going to keep players interested. And of course, the decks are getting more diverse as we're getting more and more cards in the game. Just you guys wait. At the rate that they're adding cards right now, 1 every 2 weeks, we're going to see a lot of cards just by the end of 2016. And what that means in turn is you're going to see less and less, hopefully, of, say, giant poison decks, giant bowler decks, of Hog Trifecta decks, these very specific meta decks that we see over and over and over again. And hopefully we will see some more balance to the giant. I still insist that the giant needed to see a little bit more of a nerf than it had. We are still seeing way too many giants right now, and of course way too many poison spells. Alright, so we are down to the final 90 seconds of this battle. My opponent with 2 elixir collectors cannot stand for that, so what do? I throw a Goblin Barrel off one tower, Goblin Barrel on the other elixir collector, and it doesn't really work out, but it looks cool. Nothing looks cooler than to have 2 Goblin Barrels in the air at the same time. At what cost? We're about to find out as he's got the big push. The Inferno Tower working, taking out the Valkyrie. The Hog Rider looks like it's going to get through it, though. And as the Hog is getting burned down, it does get through the tower. Just in time, I get the barbs down. They're going to slow down the damage from the Hog. And that left tower, pretty badly damaged. just going into double elixir, and time for another goblin barrel. This time it lands, and 6 goblins going down, double goblin barrels, fire spirits there. Now that time, the fire spirits get the tower down. The goblins actually did the quote-unquote tanking of the units in the area, and the fire spirits got in, and kind of a team effort, little guys getting the job done. So much more fun for me. I don't know what it is. The idea of using little units like that rather than big old bowlers and lava hounds and things like Sparkies. I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal preference. Maybe it's because I hate getting attacked by those big units and I have a hard time countering them. Either way, this deck has been so much fun for me, and it's definitely refreshed my interest in the game. Fun to just play something that I don't see anybody else playing, and it's really kind of a blast from the past. It's the Goblin Barrel with a mirror spell. You don't see that very often. Now the Hog Rider gets in here with time counting down. Check this out. No! He's tied it up with 3 seconds left, and now the thanks. He's BMing me. So, okay. Now this is putting me into just a little bit of rage mode, I have to admit. Not happy about the little thanks there at the end. All I threw was a wow. I didn't say well played. I didn't say good game. So time for another mirrored goblin barrel with the distracting barbarians. The fire spirits works out okay, but he's got his Hog Rider in on the right-hand side. My knight gets in there, kind of controlling that damage, also soaking up the damage from the musketeer. His counter coming down the left lane is not going to do anything there. The barbarians take those units out, and now I've got 8 barbarians. I've got 8 barbs moving down, but unfortunately, all it really takes is 1 Valkyrie to ruin their day. But the Goblin Barrel, once again, trying to get some damage in there. Didn't work out. Okay, so 8 barbs can't do it. Goblin Barrel can't do it. Maybe the princesses can get in there. I don't know. We've got 2 minutes left in overtime. He's pushing down the right lane. I've got the Inferno Tower once again. This time it locks onto the Hog Rider first. Works out well. Both units are going to fall without getting a shot on the tower. Here comes my knight and my princess down the left lane. Goblin Barrel once again. Mirrored Goblin Barrels coming down. 6 goblins on that tower. Princess from the middle. And could this be it? Yes! The Princess and the Goblin Barrel combination saves the day again. That middle deployment, like you see sometimes with Royal Giants or 3 Musketeers after a tower is down, was the key right there. The Princess went straight to work on that tower and gave me the 2-1 win. All right, we've got time for one more, and this is going to be another Hog Trifecta. This guy trying the Hog Ice Spirit right off the start. That quick rush that you don't see very often. Now, when I do drop an Elixir Collector in the beginning, I realize that makes me vulnerable to that quick push that you see. But here comes the counter. Goblin Barrel, and again, we're just testing him out. We're trying to see what he's got. So now we learned he's got the Zap spell. All right, fine. You've got the hard counter to my Goblin Barrel, but I will be patient. We've got over 2 minutes left, and yes, I'm a little bit behind here, but the Knight doing a great job of soaking up those fire spirits of my own helping to take down the Hog Rider, and quickly I am far behind, and look at me squeezing another Elixir Collector. I figure, okay, I'm behind, but with that counter, oh, okay, that's not good. Okay, well, you know what I can do? You're going to poison that one? I'll throw another one up, that's right. I've got triple collectors going right now. He's only poisoned 1, so we should be okay as far as putting out more elixir towards the last minute of the battle. And remember, again, this deck is about having fun. It's not just about exact, precise movements and counters and placements. It's about trying to win with style, win with multiple princesses or all sorts of fire spirits or mirrored anything. And that's exactly what we were trying to do here as we're down to the last 90 seconds. Now, this guy's got a lot of counters to my Goblin Barrel. He's got the fire spirits, the poison, the ice spirit, the zap spell, so it doesn't look good for mirrored Goblin Barrels. It also doesn't look great for my left tower, as that poison spell is going to put me down 1-0. But check out the counter push as the Goblin Barrel gets zapped. But I've got another one ready. Here come the barbarians, the princess working hard from the river. Here comes the second Goblin Barrel. The barbs are there. Here we go. Tower should go down. There it is. So we tie it up 1-1 with 60 seconds left, going into double elixir, and of course, time for another Elixir Collector. Gotta have that elixir pouring out, because if I can rotate through these cards quickly towards the end of the battle, I feel like that's what gives me the advantage. So many cheap 2 and 3 elixir cards in this deck. If I start mirroring them, I almost feel like I'm just generating confusion, like my opponent can't keep up with what's coming next, and I get confused. It's spray and pray time during the last seconds of these battles, but that's okay. I'll get confused, he gets confused, and occasionally I grab the win. Now, the goblins, once again, is this like the 4th time I've mirrored goblin barrels in this battle? And every time that second mirrored card works, just because he doesn't have an immediate counter to it. Although fire spirits would work out pretty well, occasionally they will all jump on one of the goblins rather than take them all out. Now we're going into overtime, and I have the advantage here. Getting poisoned, that's going to take out the princess, but we're going to go after him yet again with the barbarians. The barbs and the knight are going to soak up the damage from that tower, and the goblin barrels are going to go in and get the damage done. One, and here comes the second one. Of course, he's ready for it that time, but he mistimed it looked like, and one of the goblins still got a couple of shots in. We are so close to getting this tower down. It's just a matter of a few more units getting there. Here comes a couple of fire spirits and a couple of goblin barrels. And sure enough, just about getting the tower down doesn't quite work out. He does get them out of the way, but the princess, once again, princess from the river, getting more hit points off that tower. We are so close now, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in overtime, and really that's only, I believe, 2 shots from a princess to finish off that tower. Anybody, maybe a goblin barrel coming in, landing. The zap spell is ready though, but here comes the princess. There she goes. One, and the second shot is going to do it. Oh, come on, princess. No, I thought, oh man, 83 hit points left, less than 2 minutes. We've got to get somebody else in there. We don't have any direct damage, and that is one of the things that this deck lacks, is a zap spell, a fireball, a rocket. But how about a single barbarian's? No. How about a princess? How about, no? Come on, somebody get in there. The princess from the middle. No, here she goes. This is it. There goes the arrows, and that is the game right there. I keep forgetting about dropping the princess in the middle with a tower down. Oh man, so much fun. The Galatroll deck. Let me know if you try it out, if you have a different troll deck of your own that is having surprising results. Thank you guys once again. If you're still here, you're truly a #GalaFam member, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galidon, I'm still here. In fact, I'm always here. Does that make me a Gally fan number 2?